So you can see what Ansel Keys did. He just picked the countries that appeared to support his theory. But the fact is, it's not the butter on the bread, it's the bread under the butter.
We have been understanding and dealing with cholesterol in the last 50 years is one of the greatest health disasters of all time.
What are they saying? Cholesterol does not cause heart disease.
I no longer accept the paradigm that high LDL cholesterol is the cause of heart disease.
Asking someone today, especially a grown adult, whether cholesterol is good or bad for the body is the easiest question to ask. Of course it's bad. It's so bad for your heart, and it kills a lot of people, would be any one of their obvious response. Considering that this is one of the many widely spread lies in today's society, that is not surprising.
The nation's overall death rate is on the rise, up 1.2% last year, according to the Centers for Disease Control, and a major culprit is heart disease.
As said by many natural health experts, does the body make anything terrible? According to Dr. O'Neill, who stated it quite clearly, cholesterol is a byproduct of the liver that is primarily composed of glucose and fats. Glucose accounts for over 80% of the product's production concentration, while fats make up only 20%. The body produces cholesterol because it needs it. If it is heavily required, it produces large amounts of it. If it is needed minutely, it makes small amounts. Therefore, it would seem that the body is capable of regulating its own production of cholesterol, but that is not the alarming aspect of this subject.
And surprisingly, those with the highest levels of cholesterol lived the longest, and those with the lowest levels had shortened lifespans.
It's simple. If cholesterol is really more of a glucose store than fats, then Dr. Barbara is right. However, if glucose is the primary influence, then why are we advised to consume less fat? Fats are vital for the body's energy production and are also crucial for maintaining the hydration and renewal of our skin without the need for harsh body lotions.
56 million Americans fall under the guidelines to take a statin to reduce cholesterol.
The unsettling sum of these is that, according to numerous cases, those cholesterol-lowering medications are so toxic that they cause more than 50% of neurodegenerative illnesses like dementia, Alzheimer's, and other conditions globally.
Most people admitted to hospitals with heart attacks have quote-unquote normal cholesterol.
The global monopoly is obviously getting out of control, as Dr. Barbara stated, and blood cholesterol levels that were previously considered high when they were only over 300 are now regarded as high when they are just over 190. This is a drastic reduction in cholesterol levels, which is particularly harmful to the brain, which depends heavily on cholesterol to function properly. You most likely won't remember your name in 5 minutes if you are lacking cholesterol.
What are the side effects of a cholesterol-lowering medication? Lipitor, Crestor, and all the statin drugs. Dementia, Alzheimer's, memory loss, muscle wasting, and they've just added another one, and that's breast cancer.
We may be getting ahead of ourselves. Let us take a step back and briefly describe cholesterol and its critical role in the body before moving on. This would certainly make you shriveled, as numerous medical professionals have hinted that we are, in fact, being misled about this vital bodily substance. Cholesterol is a waxy, fat-like substance found in every cell of the body. It is required for the formation of cell membranes, specific hormones, and vitamin D. The liver produces roughly 75% of the body's cholesterol. The remaining 25% is obtained from food sources, such as meat, poultry, dairy products, and eggs. Cholesterol consists of 2 distinct lipoproteins, known as the good and bad.
And high-density lipoprotein is called the good guy, or the good cholesterol.
HDL, high-density lipoprotein, also known as good cholesterol, transports cholesterol from other parts of the body back to the liver, where it can be processed and eliminated. They help to remove excess cholesterol from the bloodstream, lowering the risk of plaque buildup in arteries, which can lead to atherosclerosis and cardiovascular disease. In contrast, LDL, low-density lipoprotein, the bad cholesterol, since we've discussed the good one, transports cholesterol from the liver to cells all over the body. They also play an essential role in the repair and rebuilding of arterial walls. And because they deliver cholesterol, they are also responsible for its transport to the brain. So why is it bad? Without it, we'd all be dumb and wallowing, because the brain requires that essential energy from fats to function properly and maintain its long-term health.
So whenever there's repair or rebuilding to be done, where will you find LDL? You'll find it there. It delivers cholesterol to the brain, and the brain loves cholesterol, because the brain is the fattiest organ in the body.
You might be wondering what causes damage to the endothelial cells in the arteries. But according to Dr. Barbara, there are various chemicals in food, lotions, alcohol, and cigarettes that damage the cell walls of the arteries.
Because of its low density, LDL, you'll find it on the edge.
The LDLs clog up these openings to repair the damage and hide the scar tissue.
In her book, Who Put Your Heart in Your Mouth, Dr. Natasha Campbell McBride, she spends 4 chapters looking at all the environmental poisons that come into the blood and start breaking down the little endothelium cells that line the arteries. It damages them, damage. It's there on the edge, just waiting to do its job. Plugs up the hole. And they become sticky, and they start sticking on the walls of the artery. And say we've got an area here that's quite narrow, and we've got one of these sticky glucose protein molecules dislodges, moves down here, gets stuck. If that's in the carotid artery, there's your stroke. That's the #1 cause of a stroke. If it happens in the heart muscle, there's your cardiac arrest, there's your heart attack. Can you see it's not just one thing? It's a bit of this, a bit of that, a bit of this, a bit of that. It's a whole lot of things.
We are likely beginning to see the big picture here, as it is evident from her explanations that a variety of factors contribute to heart disease, and that it is unrealistic to blame cholesterol alone for everything. It certainly appears to be the result of excess glucose and processed foods that the monopolizing society refuses to release in order to keep us spending money in the market and blaming everything on fats, which are extremely important to the body, particularly the brain.
To say that cholesterol causes heart disease is like saying the fire trucks cause the fire. Well, they must cause the fire. Have you noticed they're always there? It's like saying the ambulances are causing the accidents. Well, they must. They're the one common denominator.
It is indisputable that the stringent dietary limitations on fats, as mandated by medical organisations for more than 80 years, have not significantly decreased the risk of heart disease, which continues to rise with time.
Told everyone to stop eating butter and start eating margarine. Has that reduced heart disease? No. Not at all. Not at all. So we've got to think of something else.
Rather, these restrictions have increased the risk in tandem with the use of medications that inhibit cholesterol, such as statin, which contains lipiotol and also inhibits coenzyme Q10. This enzyme protects the heart and shares its synthesis pathway with cholesterol.
But the same pathway that the liver uses to make cholesterol, it uses to make coenzyme Q10. And what's coenzyme Q10? That's your heart protective enzyme. So anyone who goes on the statin drugs has now lost their heart protective enzyme.
It also increased cases of neurodegenerative diseases due to decreased cholesterol availability in the brain over long periods, particularly with the dangerously low reduction of elevated cholesterol levels from greater than 300 to greater than 190, requiring a greater amount of cholesterol transport in the body and brains.
Under 150, the brain's not going to work well because the brain needs the fat. In fact, under 150 can be actually a bit dangerous. In fact, if anything, what it has done, it has increased dementia and and Alzheimer's. 2 weeks later, his wife found him out in the garden. He didn't know who she was. He didn't know who he was. He didn't know where he was. This is a smart guy, astronaut, doctor. He stopped the Lipitor, and after a couple of weeks, his mind was clear again.
Not only are low cholesterol medication users susceptible to dementia, Alzheimer's, and a variety of other brain disorders, but they are also vulnerable to the heart diseases they are attempting to prevent.
What is cholesterol-lowering medication? The statin drugs are the cholesterol-lowering medication. Lipitor, Crestor, they're probably the two most common. I've got a book in my library at home called Lipitor, Thief of Memory. These are researchers, these are scientists, these are cardiovascular surgeons who are blowing the whistle that cholesterol does not cause heart disease.
Though this may sound like too much of a conspiracy theory, we can't deny that there are some truths to it. It's not the first time the topic has been raised. It's not even the 95th time, and Dr. Barbara has taken it upon herself to clarify that cholesterol isn't harmful to you. You just need to follow a healthy diet that is largely devoid of processed foods and refined carbohydrates and abundant in natural foods like avocados, vegetables, and olive oils. Basically, plant-based diets that are rich in the natural vitamins and fats. Your body needs to stay active and healthy. These fats are highly fundamental.
You've got to stop the alcohol. You've got to stop smoking. You've got to stop the coffee. You've got to go on a plant-based diet. Come to Misty Mountain, we'll show you how. Get your exercising. Start drinking more water. He said, oh, Barb, that's a bit extreme.
Also, it's critical to remove those harmful chemicals from our lives because they are the leading causes of damage to the arterial walls, which in turn causes LDLs to clog them in an attempt to protect us. This eventually leads to arterial blockages, which may be harmful to our hearts. But if the LDLs fail to do their job, the body would suffer even more from the damaged blood vessels.
I don't know about you, but I am not interested in being experimented on.
The significance of cholesterol in our bodies cannot be overstated, and we should not disregard it due to some erroneous assumptions. It is a multi-purpose powerhouse that contributes to overall health upkeep. Without it, organs that require high energy expenditure, such as the brain, would not be able to function as well as they should. It also plays a crucial role in the proper synthesis of numerous hormones and your very important vitamin D, which is necessary for strong bones. Dr. Barbara O'Neill's approach may not be suitable for everyone, but her ideas provide invaluable food for thought. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below.
I used to think 40 was old when I was 20. I used to think 60 was old when I was 40. Well, now that I'm nearing 70, I think 40 is pretty young. It's all relative, isn't it?